Hello, we are the Huge Movie Fanatics, and our Christmas theme is now brought to the action epic that is Die Hard, which is just a tremendous, tremendous movie. Like, what a great debut performance from Bruce Willis. We've done things before, but, like, man, he makes that movie so much. And then, not only do you have the great hero that is John McClane, you have the great villain that is Hans Gruber.
Oh gosh, I forgot.
Alan Rickman is just the greatest performance. Oh my God, he beats Bruce Willis. Like, that takes skill to make your characters off screen predominantly for a lot of the movie. And he's a little more memorable than John McClane, who's the big action hero of the franchise. Like, Alan Rickman just really sold this movie. It has a great Christmas feel, even though it is.
Yeah, again.
It's very LA, but, like, I mean, it's him, the New York man, going to LA and kind of being upset about it.
It works great if you don't live in LA as that, because the character itself is coming from a completely different setting.
Yeah.
So if you watch it being from the East or the Midwest,
Yeah,
you
and
completely understand what he says, because right when he gets to the airport, he's like, California, you know, when the girl jumps onto the guy.
Yeah, and, like,
And he does that I think a couple times.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
California.
But yet they make it still feel very Christmassy. You always have the sleigh bells, like, guiding the soundtrack. You have the Christmas trees and the Christmas music playing on the radio and stuff like that. Like, it feels totally Christmassy. It's probably one of the best Christmas movies ever made. I'd go so far as to say.
You would.
It's a great one. It's one that I watch every year, holiday times, and
Around Easter.
no, around Christmas. But yeah, Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, they totally make this movie. And then the dude from Family Matters.
Oh, I don't watch TV.
He was the cop, that's helping.
Oh, the African American.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, and I feel really bad about that. But he is
Sorry,
really
bro.
great. He is really great too. And then you have as with a lot of movies, this is my problem with the movie. The cops are varying levels of stupid. The higher up they get in management, the stupider they become.
Well, it's very realistic.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but so you have the street cop who's out on his beat, and he comes to John McClane's help, who's also a street beat cop kind of guy, and they're the two smart ones. Then you have his boss come in, the African American dude's boss come in, and he is just a complete twat. Like, he is completely incompetent and whatnot. But then you get the FBI coming in, and they're even more stupid than the chief, and it just goes worse and worse. Like, that is my one complaint. But it made for a really entertaining movie with a lot of pitfalls, and they used sort of the Star Wars formula with you have a problem, and then you have another problem, and each time you get out of the first problem and go into the next one, there's a new problem that you have to overcome. And Die Hard, I think, did that insanely well, to the point where, like, at the end of it, like, John McClane is one of the only heroes where is just destroyed at the end of that movie. Like, he stepped on glass, he can't walk, his white shirt is black with blood and soot, and, like, he just looks like he's at the end of his day. Like, it's just great. I'm gonna let you take over. I've said pretty much.
What about you?
Oh, I'm gonna go 4 stars.
Okay.
Easy 4 stars for Die Hard.
All right. Well, I first saw this back when it just came out on video. I didn't see it in the theater, and at the time I thought it was like overdone, which it is. I mean, it is kind of overdone, and that's the point. It's just so much action. It's so much, you know. Again, Joel Silver brings back John McTiernan, who I'm a big fan of. I think what he did in Predator and Die Hard is absolutely amazing. You got the cinematographer who actually went on to be a director and you know, do Speed and Twister and Laura Croft too, which was pretty horrible. And then so you got a lot of these people who are just really. I love John McTiernan. I don't know what the hell happened to him either, by the way. Just as a little side note, where the hell did he go? But
Yeah.
I mean, A Hunt for Red October, which I think he did after this, I mean, he was just, John McTiernan back in the day, late 70s, early 90s, was like bam, bam,
Yeah, he
bam.
kind of disappeared. I think there's a reason for why he disappeared.
It was
I
The
can't
Last
remember what
Action
it was.
Hero was the reason why he disappeared, I think.
I think he had legal problems, actually.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I researched him recently because I was like, man, Die Hard was good, and
It still is, yeah. And if you look at, when you look at interviews with him, I really like, you know, in commentary, I like his passion and stuff, and how in Predator, all the time he tries to kind of move the camera and do all this stuff and that. So, to make a long story short, I like John McTiernan, and this is just like a combination of Joel Silver, John McTiernan, and just like, whoa. And this is like huge. This is 4 stars, easy. This movie is like one of the first frickin' late 80s, epic, huge, never-ending action movies there is, and I think it totally deserves every one of them 4 fingers. It's just like, wow. And just like Silent Night, Deadly Night, comparing Silent Night, Deadly Night to Die Hard, but it sets up in such a great way, Die Hard. I mean, just like bam, bam,
yeah, the
bam,
character's
bam.
progression of John McClane through that movie.
Well, and also
is totally
that, and
unbelievable.
also the bad guys
And then
coming
yeah,
in, and the use of just right now that I don't know what piece of music it is, but it's the do do do
Yeah.
do do. The use of that I completely love, and it's used a lot, and it's used in small ways. Like I think as the bad guy
Yeah.
van's rolling up, it's like it's used
Yeah.
in subtle ways, and I think that's probably John McTiernan. And when you have a smart director behind a movie like that, it's just so in a lot of them little microscopic ways that might, you know, go unnoticed to, you know, the masses are very cool little touches like that he puts into it. And I think that which you didn't mention, which I might as well mention, is the kind of side note, which is the marital trouble
Yeah.
or whatever. I think was fine. I think
Yeah,
it
it
added
really works.
to the character and gave the character the needed.
Not only added to his character,
Humanity.
it added to her character because she starts standing up to the villain as well. So you can totally see why he liked her in the first place.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're like, well, she's a person who's not going to take things lying down. Just so the kind of person that John McClane would be attracted to.
Yeah, probably.
So I mean, you totally like. There's no aspect of this movie that doesn't really work really well.
Yeah.
And the action holds up. Like you
Even
watch
now,
it now.
it's like,
It's still heart-pounding action, and what, like 23 years later, something like that.
I don't know. Well, this is 88, so.
Yeah, that'd be 23.
Oh, yeah,
years.
23. Okay.
Yeah, 23 years later, the action still holds up. You can't really say that even to something like Lethal Weapon, which came out the year before.
I think
like,
Lethal Weapon is far more pansy in action compared to Die Hard. I mean,
Oh,
you've
certainly.
of course, I think that's John McTiernan, though. But I mean, it's just like what happened between Lethal Weapon and Die Hard was just like, whoa, mama, you know, and it's just like, holy cow. And what I love about Die Hard is the music that accompanies the action. When the action starts, it's like, or however it goes, you know. I think the music accompanies the movie perfectly as well, the action music. And if you look at, I don't know if it exists so much now, but I remember the old Laserdisc, one of the first widescreen Laserdiscs of the movie. The sounds, like the punches, I don't know if they have them more cleaned up now, but the punches were so awesome and frickin' raw.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it on any kind of stereo which had any kind of bass, it's just like they were just the best punches. Like when he's punching people. I love how he like cusses and curses, like eat you and eat your head or whatever he says.
I think that's so realistic too. Like,
So
if you-
totally. Not that
if you're in
I'm
that
not a fighter, but
I'm a
I can see that
totally
being-
anti-violent person, but like if you're in that situation where you're fighting a terrorist and whatnot who has a gun to you, and you have to fist fight to get to that gun,
yeah.
like you're gonna sit there and be like, you know, and just take out every bit of aggression and strength you
Yeah, I
have.
know,
Also,
and
just
you're
to
gonna
keep you moving, because he was probably near death at that point, like realistically.
Yeah, and I think the action, even now, I think is almost, it's kind of like the horror in Last House on the Left that was achieved is, I think, untoppable even by any standards. And I think in a lot of ways, Die Hard, the action and the rawness that was captured in that movie,
yeah.
as far as the action, and unlike Lethal Weapon, where I wasn't so much a fan of the end, you know,
Fist fight and
fist
stuff.
fight, you know, physical fight back and forth. I do like all of that happens
It's
in
totally
Die Hard.
the way it was shot. Because
Well-
in Lethal Weapon, you had a lot of tight camera angles, and you just see like
Yeah.
a fist move, and then like legs go up and wrap and stuff like that. You couldn't really see what was going on. It was handheld. This is also handheld, but the camera stays back and doesn't let the it doesn't intrude on the violence. It's like you're sitting there watching everything go down.
I think I can't remember.
There's
but
not
I think
a lot of cuts.
he lets things unfold in
Yeah,
frame,
exactly.
and it's much more real in that aspect. Another thing I
You'd
didn't
also
like.
follow what was happening.
Yeah, that too. Another thing I didn't like about the Lethal Weapon is it's almost like they just like almost ceremonially are like, all right, let's fight. You know, where in Die Hard it's just like it segues from maybe a shootout or something into physical, which is more realistic.
Yeah.
It's not like
Like it was two men who were about to.
yeah,
Like,
and they
I'm gonna die or you're gonna die. What happens?
And it was
then,
it was like that. Where in Die Hard, it's like we're shooting, and we come together, and it's like okay, well now we come together, so we're gonna punch.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, it was very cool. And one thing that I gotta make a comment on is that screen. Remember that screen, the TV screen at the bottom of Nakatomi Tower?
Yeah.
Oh, cute toy.
Yeah.
Now everyone's got that on their phone.
Yeah, I
touch
know,
screen.
right?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's really funny.
But it's like if you watch that now, if you show any high school kid that now, man, can you imagine the reaction? Bloop. Nice toy you got here. You can take your. You can
Well,
charge it from
I
your
saw.
zipper.
I first saw it when I was in high school, and even back then, that's
Yeah.
about 10 years ago. I was just like, wow, this movie's dated. And I mean, and to be fair, I'm only 10 minutes into the movie at that point,
Yeah.
so I had no idea what was to come later. But like, just watching that, I was like, wow, this is.
You almost
this is
turned it
old.
off.
Yeah, I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
no, I'd never do that. But I was just like, wow, this is kind of laughable.
Isn't it funny, like one little tech aspect like that?
Yeah.
It's just like, because I watched this, because back when Marcus Theater was doing that stuff, they
Okay.
played this. Did you watch
I
it?
did not see this.
Because it was back, I think it was back in, late, it was like this time of year in 06, I think, is when they did it. Because they had a preview for Live Free or Die Hard, which came out
Yeah.
the next summer. So yeah, I got to actually go see this there on the Ultra screen. And the sound was the same way, where it was like the thuds and stuff was like, it was just so late 80s and freaking raw. And what, I think, almost sloppy in a good way. I think if you watch some of the making of like The Expendables, the best thing about the movie is all the behind the scenes stuff of Expendables, because you see Sylvester Stallone telling the sound guys, don't make this sound too clean, because so much sound now is so perfect and clean and everything, and you can hear Stallone saying, you know, don't make this too clean, make this louder here or something like that, and that's what I think of when I think of like the soundtrack, some of the Die Hard, like as far as the punches and stuff, is they're I thought that was the pinnacle of like punch sound design in a movie, and I think everything or a lot of stuff that came after is almost too clean, but we're really, I mean, going overboard here on Die Hard. Would you pretty much say it?
Yeah, I think
We're unanimous here.
4 stars.
4 stars for Die Hard.
This is an elite movie.
elite movie, ultimate action movie, great Christmas movie. Which what you said you put in your
this
one of the great.
This
Christmas
would be one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
Which
Probably in my top 5.
Which, as you say, has like just if nothing else, it has just a
Just the sleigh bells
put the sleigh
throughout the
bells.
entire movie. Like
Yeah.
it's the driving force of the score.
Yeah.
It's just great. So
this it does show that you can make a Christmas movie in LA if you just have sleigh bells shaking in the sound.
yeah, pretty much.
You've probably seen it, so I don't have to probably say check it out, but check it out again.
Yeah.
Die Hard, good for this time of year or any old time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and have a happy Christmas.
You are done. No more table. Where are you going, pal? Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate. Thanks for the advice.